If you want to transition to a plant-based diet but don't know where to start, you are in the perfect place. If you're new here, hey, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist, a weight loss specialist, and the creator of Slim, where you'll get from me a custom workout plan, a custom meal plan, daily meditations, journal topics, access to me to ask all of your questions, and more. So if you're interested in that, click the link in the down bar. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 methods that you can choose from to get started on a plant-based diet, and I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of both of them. So whether you're just starting your journey or if you're getting back into it after maybe falling off track, this is going to be a great video for you to step back and make a game plan that aligns with you and your personality and circumstances. There is no perfect or right way to make this transition. Instead, there are a number of different methods that you can choose from, looking at the pros and cons of each and saying which one is the best for me as an individual. So just because Susie's journey went that way and just because Gretchen's journey went the other way doesn't mean that you have to go either of those ways. You're gonna go your way. Method 1 is the go all in method. How do we do it? Exactly how it sounds. You get rid of everything that is not 100% whole food plant-based. You stock your pantry with all the good stuff, say sayonara to the other stuff, either donating it or throwing it out or giving it to family members. And you, from this moment onward, have committed to being 100% whole food plant-based. Pros, you're gonna see the most rapid results. You're gonna see the quickest changes and you're gonna get the quickest results. Also, it's gonna help with reducing your decision fatigue on should I eat this, should I not eat it? It keeps it very black and white, yes or no, yes, I am having this, or no, that's not aligned, so you don't have to go through the exhaustion of bargaining with yourself. There are no gray areas, no compromises. It is great for the person that doesn't wanna be mulling over whether or not they should have something and just have a clear and set guide. Cons. You are at risk for crashing and burning for a lot of reasons. Number 1, people usually when they go all in without enough proper knowledge don't know exactly how to structure their meals so that they're going to be satisfied and get all of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that they need. So then they end up getting super hungry, they have low energy, and they blame it on the plant-based lifestyle as opposed to the real culprit here is just not knowing how to structure meals in general. I actually did a podcast recently where I suggested, and I'll talk about this in one of the later methods in this video, but I had suggested learn how to structure a meal, whether you're eating animal products or you're eating a plant-based lifestyle. First and foremost, learn how to do that before you try to transition to plant-based so that you can understand how to pair together vegetables and a source of protein and a sprinkling of healthy fats and carbohydrates so that you know how the formula is at a baseline so that when you're using these plant-based proteins and you transition to those, you aren't experiencing extreme fatigue due to the sheer fact that you're just not eating enough food in general. So all of this to say, if you go all in and you're not successful, you can crash and burn and completely write off the lifestyle in total, when the reality is that it's probably not the plant-based protein or the plant-based foods that are doing any harm. It's just that the foundational understanding of how to fuel yourself, whether you're eating plant-based foods or not, is missing. So that's one of the cons of going all in, is that you are more prone to mistakes. You're also more prone to burnout. Usually as quickly and as intensely as you get something is as quickly and intensely as you lose it. So I've seen people be very passionate about going all in, and then they have one thing that's off plan and everything crashes and burns. If you are that type of personality, if you know yourself and you have a history of doing that, then I wouldn't recommend that you do the all in method. I would recommend that you do more of an ease in method. Method number 2, if you don't want to do all in, then you might want to consider the half plate method. For the half plate method, all you're gonna focus on, you're not gonna focus on anything else except for having half of your plate vegetables. I don't want you to worry about not eating meat and not eating animal products and getting all these things out of your diet. Truly, all I want you to focus on right now is just having half of your plate as vegetables. Pros, it is incredibly simple for people to start to adopt this practice. Pro number 2, the nutrient quality, the quality of their intake overall is going to improve tremendously, and their overall calorie intake is going to be healthily suppress. So for individuals that are looking to lose weight, this can be a tactic that they can use. They don't even change anything else. They just start having half of their plate be vegetables, and they see results because the amount of calories that they're eating dramatically reduces. And for individuals that want to eat a plant-based diet but don't necessarily need to release weight, by doing this, because this is one of the key components of the whole food plant-based lifestyle just in general, is make half your plate vegetables. So for individuals that are doing this before they transition to plant-based and they find that they're really low energy, they can address that before they make the transition to plant-based, because what will happen is they'll make the transition to plant-based, half their plate is vegetables, and once again, they blame the plant-based diet when the reality is that they weren't eating enough calories in order to support their energy needs. So it's really good at pinpointing exactly how much fuel you need as a baseline, so that when you do make the transition of excluding the animal products and including sources of plant-based protein, you will do so from a place where you're getting enough fuel in the first place. Another pro to this is that you're gonna get in way more fiber and water, so you're gonna feel so much more satisfied by your meals. And the last pro is that it's flexible to any lifestyle. So whether you are currently eating animal products and meat and whatever, this will still work. This can work for anybody that is on any diet, no matter where you're starting. It is a fantastic starting place. It also is helping people focus on the right thing, which is eating more whole, real, natural food. I find that when a lot of people are starting to make the transition to a plant-based diet, they're focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on, what am I gonna eat instead of XYZ? What am I gonna do instead of the butter? What am I gonna do instead of the cheese? What am I gonna do instead of the chicken? And that puts this aura and this energy of inconvenience and stress and frustration around the food. Whereas when we do it from this approach, when we're like, just make half your plate vegetables, that is the energy that I wanna have, which is get in more real, whole, natural food, and all the other foods will start to be crowded out. Cons: you are not going to get the full benefits that come from using plant-based protein as opposed to animal products. So, animal products are very high in fat and cholesterol. And if you are struggling with things like high cholesterol, like high blood pressure, excess fat on the body, hormonal disruptions, then you probably will still have those lingering if you're using this method to transition. Method number 3, I call the MAD method, and it stands for Meals a Day Method. The way that you do this is you choose a certain amount of meals per day that you want to be plant-based. So let's say I'm choosing the MAD method and I'm gonna aim for 2 meals a day that are plant-based. This means that my responsibility is for 2 meals a day, I'm having half my plate as vegetables, about a little bit less than half your plate as starches, leave some room for some plant-based protein like beans, peas, lentils, tofu, tempeh, and then you can do a sprinkling of healthy fats, nuts, seeds, or some avocado. Other than that, I don't have any responsibility. My only responsibility is to make sure that I get in those 2 meals. If I wanna have donuts, ice cream, cake, cookies, whatever outside of that, that's fine, that's okay with me. And here's why I make this an option for people that I work with in my VIP coaching, is because the natural satiety mechanisms in these plant-based foods are going to make you less inclined to eat all the other stuff. There's so much fiber and water in these foods, and they're so high in nutrient density that they satisfy you, they give your body what it truly needs, and for that reason, you're not as attracted to the other stuff. You're full. You don't want to eat those foods as much just because you've eaten so much of the good stuff. There's not enough room in your stomach, and you kind of get repulsed by eating the amounts of the other junk that you used to, because you're full and satisfied on the good stuff. And then over time, it's super easy to track. This is another pro of this lifestyle, this transition method, is that if you are eating 2 meals a day, once you feel ready to move up to 3, it's so easy to track. I got in 2 meals. I also love that it is rewarding you through positive reinforcement about the things that you're doing right, as opposed to you focusing on all the things you're doing wrong and all of the stuff that you're not supposed to be having. Cons: it can delay your results because you're still eating the other stuff, having a high calorie intake. It also can prevent you from being in a calorie deficit. So during this transition period, you might not yet see weight loss, but it is such, if weight loss is your goal, it is such a great method to set you up and prime you for sustained, steady, predictable, reliable weight loss down the line. So if you can be patient and work on this so that when you are ready to dive in, you'll see tremendous results, it's a really great thing to do. No matter what method you choose, you absolutely must make sure that you are supplementing correctly. You might be considering what supplements you should be taking on a plant-based lifestyle. These are the ones that you have to take, and listen, I made the cleanest ones for you. So vitamin B12 you absolutely have to take if you are transitioning to a plant-based diet. You are not going to get it naturally from food due to modern sanitization. This nutrient is a goner, especially if you're on a plant-based diet. Vitamin D3, vitamin D is what you get from the sun, or it is in some animal products. So if you're on a plant-based diet, you're definitely not going to get enough of it. 43% of Americans are deficient, whether they eat meat or not. I was deficient, which is why I actually made this supplement. And there are two types, well, there's multiple types of vitamin D, but the two main types that you'll hear about are vitamin D2 and D3. This is D3 because it is shown to increase vitamin D levels the best out of all the vitamin Ds. So these are linked in the down bar. Honestly, I would just set up the subscription so you can get a new one every month and you don't have to worry about it, but these are top notch. They don't have any junk in them. As you can see, there is no oils, no GMO, no gross stuff, no sugar, just vegan, clean, premium supplements. Method number 4 is the clean kitchen method. This is for individuals that either live alone or live with a partner that or a family that is interested in transitioning to this lifestyle as well. And it's exactly what it seems, that you clean out your kitchen from all the junk and you don't repurchase any of it and you only fill your kitchen with the good stuff. This is great for the individuals that I work with that really struggle with visual temptation. If seeing a food is a trigger for you to want to eat that food, then it has to be out of sight. And I understand this is not going to be an option for everybody, which is why I have other methods in this video that you can choose from. But if you are in a position where you either live alone or the people that you live with are okay with this method, it's a really great way to make it so that you naturally eat these foods without having to go through the decision fatigue and the bargaining and weighing the pros and cons of should I eat this or should I eat that, because it's the only thing that you have around. Studies show that households that have a fruit bowl on the table overall have an on average lower BMI, aka they weigh less. We eat what's in front of us because it's theirs. Study after study has shown that our diet is simply a reflection of what's in our environment and what we have access to. If we don't have access to something, we can't have it. So if we keep our environment clean, the odds of us being compliant are so much higher just because this is the food that's in our environment, and that's that. I know that going to the grocery store is a trigger for a lot of people to see all of those foods, so I would encourage you to use services like grocery delivery or pickup where they do the shopping for you so that you don't have to go in the grocery store. If you do deal with intense behaviors around food that resemble addiction, people, places, and things is when it comes to addiction, these are the 3 things that are going to encourage you to engage in the behavior or relapse. The grocery store is a big trigger for a lot of people that I work with. So in today's day and age, you might be able to stay away from it entirely. Method number 5 is the replacement method. This is where you look at the diet that you currently have and one at a time you replace one thing. And once you make the replacement has been made. So you have to be ready to make that replacement and move on from it. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're using dairy milk in your coffee every morning. You make the transition to a non-dairy milk, and that transition has been made, it is done, it is dusted. Let's say that you usually are having tacos with chorizo in it. You make the transition to a lentil chorizo, then the transition is made. You're not going back to what you used to do beforehand. So one by one, you chip away at it. Pros, it is for the person that is not ready to make this huge lifestyle transition, but knows in the long term that they're going to have to make the change at some point, but doesn't want it to be this huge dramatic thing. It's also for the person that might not be have any jarring health issues or concerns that they have to address and have the time. Some people don't have the time because of the health issues that they're looking to address. So that is something to keep in mind. Or for the person that doesn't need to release weight, they just want to be healthier. One at a time, replace one item at a time. If you usually have potato chips for a snack, start making your own potato chips by baking up potatoes, and one at a time, slowly but surely, you're chipping away at it. And the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen proves that these small incremental changes, when made consistently, create a huge impact over time. All of these methods can be applied if you are on the Slim program. If you are overwhelmed and you just want me to give you custom meal plan, custom workout plan, you want access to me so I can answer all of the questions that you have, then just join Slim. It's super easy to get started, and you can get started today. You could get your meal plan today and get started. So all that information is in the description bar. If you like this video, I have another video about how to transition to a plant-based diet that you might find really helpful, so I will link that on the screen to pop up at the end of this video. I love you, honeys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.